everybody, and welcome back to a better and yet modified version of our channel. And today I want us to talk about whole foods versus processed foods. We are living in a world that is slowly normalizing unhealthy living in a very subtle manner, leaving the overall health of people either being compromised or neglected. So what I want us to understand is what exactly are we eating and what is it doing to our bodies, and I want us to make informed nutritional decisions in our day-to-day lives. So we're going to start by defining what whole foods are and what processed foods are. Whole foods are foods that have not gone through any processing or any refinement. They do not have any added ingredient to them. They are in their natural form and they are full of nutrients. Examples of whole foods include your legumes, your fruits and vegetables, your nuts, your whole grain, your meat, your fish, and your eggs. Whereas processed foods are foods that have undergone some processing. They are no longer in their original form. Food processing may include your baking, your canning, your fermenting, and your heating. It is important to note that not all processed foods are unhealthy, but some processed foods do contain high levels of your sugar, your fat, and your salt. Examples of your processed foods may include your breakfast cereals, your cheese, your bread, your tinned foods, your instant foods or ready meals, your cakes and your biscuits, your savory snacks such as sausage rolls and pies, your meat products such as bacon and ham, and your drinks such as milk and soft drinks. Earlier on, I mentioned that not all processed food is unhealthy. Some foods definitely need to undergo processing in order for them to be made safe for consumption. For example, your milk. Your milk needs to be pasteurized in order to remove all the harmful bacteria before we start consuming it. Then there are other foods that need to be processed so that we can be able to use them in our day-to-day lives. For example, with oil. Oil needs to be pressed down from seeds in order for it to be oil. In order for us to start cooking with oil, it needs to be pressed down from seeds. We cannot be able to take seeds and start cooking them and say this is oil, or because the seeds are made to make oil. So we have to press the seeds in order for us to get the oil so that we can be able to use the oil properly. So in a nutshell, food processing or processed foods are not unhealthy, but the extent to which food becomes processed is what makes processed food unhealthy. During food processing, there are certain ingredients that are added to food, such as your salt, your fat, and your sugar. And these ingredients are added to improve the taste of the food and also to extend the shelf life of the foods. So buying these foods, buying processed foods, can lead to people eating more than the recommended amount of your sugar, your fat, and your salt. And this is because people are not aware of how much sugar, how much fat, how much salt has been added to the food they are buying and eating. And as people, we don't have control over the amount of sugar, amount of salt, amount of fat that are added to foods during food processing. But what we have control over is what we choose to buy as people and as consumers. So now this is where having nutritional education comes in. We need to be able to read off nutritional labels found on food packagings. Those will help us choose better processed foods and healthier processed foods. By reading off the nutritional information on nutritional labels, we're able to know how much sugar, how much fat, and how much salt have been added to foods during processing. Most of the foods we buy do have the nutritional information or the nutritional labels. You will either find them either in front or at the back or on the sides of the packaging, but somewhere in the package you will find the nutritional information. Most of the processed foods use color coding on their nutritional information. So you'll often find a mixture of your red, your ambers, and your greens. So if you're buying food and if you want to make a healthier choice when it comes to the food that you are buying, it is better to go for more greens and ambers and fewer reds. The nutritional information on the labels can help us make better choices when it comes to buying food, whether we're going to buy healthy food or unhealthy food. At least when you know what you are buying, you're going to be able to make informed decisions. By just reading the information on the labels, you're going to be able to know, or you're going to easily identify how much sugar was added into that specific food, how much salt and how much fat. If you're somebody who's watching your fat intake or sugar intake or your salt intake, it is advisable to actually check the nutritional information on the labels before buying the food. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you were informed. One of the core purposes of this channel is for us to encourage one another to live and lead healthier lifestyles. I always say this: prevention is better than cure. There are some diseases that can be prevented by just eating right, and my desire is for you to know and understand that you have the power to eat right. You have the power to prevent certain diseases that are prone to attack you if you eat right and if you practice wellness. I will see you on the next video. Please don't forget to like, to comment, to subscribe, and share if you feel like somebody may be in need of this information.